Hello, welcome to the Squirrel Tale, and welcome to my second book review. Today I'm reviewing the book Recreating the 18th Century Powder Horn by Scott and Kathleen Sibley. Now, if you like this kind of content and want more book reviews, make sure you smash that like button. But now I'll get started. Now, this book goes through the steps of making a powder horn. It starts talking about the tools you need and the setup needed for horn work. And then it goes through step by step with clear pictures and all, from cutting and drilling the tip all the way through the finish work and dyeing and scrimshaw and stuff like that. And at the end, it has a collection of horns to give you ideas. The person this book is made for is someone who wants to get into horn making, a beginner in the hobby. My personal experience with this book is my father purchased it at our first time at the Gunmakers Fair at Dixon's about almost 14 years ago. This would have been their 2009 show, I believe. I might be off a year or two. And it was the book I used to get started in horn work. As you can see in the picture of the book in the thumbnail, my copy spent a lot of time in the shop, and even before I had the shop in the garage where I started making horns. And I do want to clarify, I'm by no means sponsored by the authors or anyone selling this book. This is my opinion and solely my unbiased opinion. The pros of this book are, first, it's very easy to read and understand. When I first read through it, I was in middle school, and I had no issue understanding the steps. It was pretty clear. So if you want to give it to a youngster who's interested in horn work, they should have no issue with understanding it. Second thing I like about it is the quality of the photos. I don't want to show these because of copyright laws and stuff like that, but the photos are very high quality, very carefully taken, and they clearly show what they're working on. That can be a real challenge because you're trying to do a task and making sure you have the right angle where you can do the task and also let the photo be clear. I know this from experience. They blow this out of the park and do an amazing job with their photography in the book. The other thing I like about it is they do all the work with common tools. It would not be very expensive to get all the tools they use in the book. This is something that I know a lot of how-to shop books don't do very well. There's some where they will, if you don't have their exact shop set up, it's almost hard to follow, which can be very frustrating. I remember when I was a kid reading through some other books and getting frustrated because they listed 5 tools. Go to the Grizzly catalog to look up the tools, and it would be $10,000 worth of tools you need. And so that's something I appreciate a lot. But if you go through their steps that they show in the book, you will end up with a functional horn. When it comes to cons, I really don't have any cons for this book. Now, it is definitely made for a beginner. If you have a lot of experience with horn work, and assuming you already have this book, it's not really one for you. It doesn't go into the higher level stuff like bands and stuff like that, but they do have a book on Southern banded horns. And another thing, now I said the pro was that the tools are very simple. There's definitely easier ways to do some of the stuff they do if you have a better equipped shop. But If you go through this book, it's a good way to get you started working, and then your personal technique can evolve from there. I always say anytime when you want to get into a hobby, you can, do the reading and do the research. But at some point, you're going to have to make chips. And this book is a very easy one where a common person with minimal tools can get making chips and get actually making something. And I would personally suggest, if you want to get into horn work, I would suggest two things. I would suggest buying this book and reading it through front to back all the way. And that way, that'll give you the idea. I would even recommend this before you buy a horn, because one thing they cover is the kind of traits you want to look into when buying a horn. And I would also suggest going through my YouTube series on making a horn, which I'll have linked at the end. But yes, this is a very good book, highly recommended. And I hope you enjoy the video, and have a good day.